cut off in the rest of the world. When he resigned 34 years later, or he retired 34 years later, when he was 52, I think, he'd accomplished a lot. And to discuss what he'd accomplished would not be appropriate, but one is GNH, the idea of GNH, and developing the country around that. The other is securing the national borders, the national boundaries, national sovereignty, and ensuring that we were recognized as an independent and as a sovereign nation. Yes, we were already independent and sovereign, but as a small country, it's very important to ensure that that recognition is global.
Sure.
This is what it is. Within the country, from almost a zero base, he developed an economy, however small it may be now, still developed an economy in all three sectors. Okay, but without damaging the environment or without undoing our culture. He managed that. He managed to educate all our children, provide free healthcare, and then develop good governance. He decentralized power and authority to the districts. He started democratic elections way before democracy was introduced officially. So actually we did have a semi-democratic sort of state.
He gradually devolved his powers.
Correct. And he developed a constitution. So single-handedly, I think His Majesty the Fourth King ensured that Bhutan's survival was not just viable, it was successful.
Do you think that His Majesty intended for gross national happiness to be such an important part of Bhutan's politics?
I think he intended that sounds so arrogant, okay, to even say what, to imagine what he intended. Well, His Majesty the King, through his action and his past policies, would do anything and everything to ensure the well-being of his people. That came first, almost all the time. So, gross national happiness, yeah.
Do you think in a way that the successive governments that have taken over from His Majesty have in a way tried to mainstream His Majesty's vision through this policy or vision of gross national happiness, and in doing so try to retain somewhat of a subjective reproduction in a way of His Majesty's
that would be the idea.
benevolence in government?
That would be the idea. That should be the idea. The Constitution was also, in part, a culmination of a lot of soul-searching research and study of His Majesty's past action and policies.
Okay, so His Majesty's vision in a way is that which the governments and successive governments will try to retain.
I hope so.
In policy making.
I hope so.
Okay, that's very heartening. Does gross national happiness make democratic transition easier?
No. What has made democratic transition easy in Bhutan, if it was easy, was His Majesty the King. Fourth King prepared the ground, and our current King oversaw the transition. It's not gross national happiness.
Also, how do you see Bhutan's success in passing the unbinding resolution on making happiness a development indicator at the United Nations?
I think it's good that people and countries and governments think about the purpose of governance. purpose of economic growth. So if this non-binding resolution gives pause, momentary pause for thought, I think that's good.
Okay. So that brings me to the end of my interview. Thank you. That was 42 or more questions long.
So I'm sorry we couldn't go into detail.
No, thank you for answering so many of them, all of them in fact. And so, for your considered responses and your replies, which refused to go into rhetoric, but were very within the scope of what you thought you could responsibly and accurately answer.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you. I really
thank you for your
appreciate
time.
that.
And good luck.
Thank you for yours.